Hello everyone, welcome back and thank you for joining me this week. This week I am doing a request for some coffin nails. Now these are not as tapered as some of the coffin shaped nails out there, and I am very aware of that, but this is how I like to start off a new set of coffins, and I think that it really depends on the natural nail that you're working with as well as to how tapered you can go without taking out your sidewalls and getting kind of weird funky shapes going on. So starting out, I've already prepped these. Excuse my broken nails and my slightly damaged beds here. I did a lot of different things over the last 3 weeks with nail art, trying things out. So they're a little bit of a mess right now, but regardless, they're already prepped. And I'm starting with the MBI metal file to get my natural nail into that kind of tapered square that I'm looking for to start out with. I know that there's some people that feel that it's best to remove as much of the natural nail as possible when doing a new shape like this. For myself, I like to leave as much as I possibly can. I am not a big fan of cutting back the natural nail if I don't have to, so the more I can leave to work with, the happier I am. So then just again cleansing here with some after wipe as per usual. Dusting everything off as well. And then starting off with Nail Basics bondage. This is like a double-sided sticky tape, if you will. So this bonds really well to the natural nail. And then our bonding gel bonds very well to this. So I personally don't ever have issues with lifting. Occasionally, if you get someone that has really oily natural nail beds, you can put up to 5 coats of bondage on. That'll usually do the trick. I ended up doing 3 coats on my natural nails here, especially my ring finger and pinky. As you can see, I do have a little bit of damage going on my nail bed. That's just from me taking off 3 different sets of nails and only taking off the art of them and not really filling them properly. And then starting with first and last, and this is our bonding gel. I like to apply this with the Nail Basics Pro Round brush, but you're more than welcome to use a square bristled brush as well. I just like the round brush. You can really get into the cuticles well this way and all the way down the growth channel. So pillowing that first and last, you're making almost a bit of a dam around the entire natural nail so that with your blending gels, you have less of a chance of flooding into the cuticle. So after that has been applied to all 5 nails, I'm giving that a quick freeze. It only needs about 20 seconds. Now for the extensions themselves, I like to use Nail Basics Vanilla. This is our kind of almost yellow tinted gel. It's a very slight yellow to mimic the color of the natural nail. I like to use this for extensions as it doesn't affect the art that goes on top of it. You don't get any shadowing from extra white nails, and then you also don't get any kind of see-through nails if you were to build with clear. So applying my form, and for this particular style of nail, I do just put the form so that it's slightly tilted downward. It's a little bit hard to tell in this video just from the angle I had to shoot it, but it is just slightly with the tip down. This just makes it easier to float your gel out from the growth channel just straight out, so you can get those really crisp lines going straight from the growth channel to the tip of your extension. And I do really like to take my time at this step. It makes the finish filing at the end so much quicker and easier. And it's a lot easier now to fix and go back and add a little product than if you get all the way to the end and realize that you didn't put enough product and you have like a wonky free edge going on. So now is the time to really slow down, take your time. I also find that wiping up into the growth channel rather than wiping from the growth channel down the form gives you a better, straighter line as well. So that's another little tip. And then with vanilla, you only need to freeze this for about 30 seconds. You'll know that it's enough when you go to pop the form off and it literally pops off. Like you can see it in this video. There's a little bit of a pop and the form just pops right off. If you're really struggling to get the form off, put it back in the light for another 10 to 15 seconds and then take it out and try again. It should not be a struggle to get the form off when you're doing your extensions. So once all 5 extensions are complete, it's time to do the building. And I just want to take a second to show you the difference between flex and flexure. So flexure is a thicker and stronger gel, and flex is thinner and more flexible. So you don't really want to build a full nail with flexure. As you can see, it's quite stiff. It does self-level slightly, but it is quite a bit thicker than flex. Building a full nail with flexure could cause lifting problems, especially if a client has really flexible natural nails. And then flex is our blending gel. So this gel will go from the support bridge to the cuticle and will allow for more movement through the enhancement. So there's a couple different ways that you can go about applying. This is specifically for new nails or extensions like this. So applying the flexure from the support bridge down onto the tip of the nail. And again, with all application, I really try to take my time and make things as perfect as I can. And then that will reduce the amount of filing that I have to do afterward. So not working with too much product so my nails aren't too thick, but also being really aware with my placement of my product as well. And then, so first option here is to apply the flexure and then go right ahead without curing anything and apply the flex, blending from the support bridge back to the cuticle. I tend to use this method on myself and my clientele. I just prefer to work with the liquid flexure. I don't know if it's just me or if kind of moving it back with the flex gives me a little bit more strength as well, but it's just my personal preference. The only thing with doing extensions this way or new nails this way is you'll usually tend to get a bit of a, I don't want to say a ridge because it's just a little bit of a bump between the extension and the support bridge. So what I like to do is then freeze this for about 10 to 15 seconds just so things don't move on me. And then I'll come back in with a little bit of flexure and just work it across that little, I'm gonna call it a ridge for lack of a better word. And then after that, giving it again just about a 10 to 15 second freeze so nothing moves on me. Now the second option for application is to do the support first and then freeze it. If you do it this way, I find you can kind of do 2 or 3 nails of the support with your flexure, and then I personally like to work 1 nail at a time when I'm using flex. So with this option, I'm doing 2 nails here, just the support and the tip of my extension with flexure, and then I'm going to freeze that for about 15 seconds, and then coming in with my flex and floating it again from the support bridge to the cuticle. Now doing it this way, I can go in and fix that little bit of a bridge at the where the extension and the support bridge are meeting without coming back a second time. So again, it's totally up to you how you would like to apply these, but these are kind of the 2 options with the Nail Basics system that work really well. And then once everything has been applied, giving it a full 2-minute cure. And as always, after that full cure, giving a really good cleanse with some after wipe, removing that inhibition layer, that sticky layer of gel that's left after curing. Then coming in with the Erica's Diamond File, and when doing extensions like this, I find it really helpful to look at the nail from the side. Trying to file this type of extension when you're looking at the nail from on top is when you'll start to get hooked nails because you can't actually see where your file is laying. So turning the hand on the side, looking at that growth channel and really making sure that you're placing the file in the growth channel straight out onto the extension. The Erica's file is really, really great for this because it is a stiff file, so you'll get really nice straight lines doing it this way. And then filing from underneath of the nail and gently rolling up onto the side. You don't want to do too big of an exaggerated movement. Again, too much of an exaggeration here will end up with hooked nails, but you can kind of see how I've gone about filing this type of extension here. And then of course coming in with my arbor band and getting that nice shape into the nail that I'm looking for, taking out any extra bulk that's going on and just really starting to get that final shape into the nail. And again, because I like to spend so much extra time actually doing application, at this point in time, it should be really quick and simple to get that kind of final shape that you're looking for because you already basically made it when you're doing the application. And for the last bit of hand filing, coming in with a moon file. So this is a 100-180 grit file, and I use the 100 grit side first and doing the same exact technique that I used using my Erica's file. The difference is this file is a little bit less stiff. It has a little bit of give to it, and I find it just gives a little bit more of a natural looking extension. But again, just looking at it from the side, making sure your file is really lined up with those growth channels and giving that final free edge shape to the nail. So you can see here, I'm pretty much happy with the way that these look. And there's just a couple little final touches to go on, but I have a really nice straight free edge coming from my growth channel. So then filing out underneath, this is especially important with the extensions because there is a bit of a ridge where the product meets the natural nail. That's just the nature of the beast. That's the way that it goes. So using a diamond cone and being very slow and gentle. I didn't speed up this first one so you can see how slowly I'm moving with this. So just gently pulling the skin back and then getting in and filing that little edge. That will really help mainly with preventing your client from picking. And if your client were to pick that, they could potentially pick the entire extension right off. So just being really careful with that. And then last but not least, finishing up with the crosscut barrel. I use a medium grit, but you can definitely use coarse if you like. And then with this bit, I find that it's really kind of a practice makes perfect kind of thing. When you're using it, you can almost feel the bulk in the nail and just feel where you need to file a little bit off. Of course, using all of your angles, looking down the barrel and the diagonal barrel to see where the bulk is, but you can really feel it with this bit. So you're really just smoothing everything out and getting that final perfect shape into place. And then specifically with longer extensions, I like to take a buffer block. So we have these little disposable peach rectangle buffers. And I like to use these, especially using the Timmel. I find sometimes I can't quite get as smooth on the back half of the nail as I'd like. So using one of these buffers, you can really smooth everything out so that you get a perfect gel polish application. And then just giving these one last quick wipe and dust off, and you have some beautifully sculpted nails that are ready for color application.